Good morning and welcome to Tuesday the 8th of February. If you watched last week's vlog, I do apologise, it was really long, so I'm going to make this one a lot shorter. I'm not going to dwell too much on the water under the floor situation. I first of all want to show you my little invention and how I'm going to stop my issue of overfilling the water tank. And just to say, I've been monitoring the inspection hatch every morning 7 o'clock, and I'm just going to show you, I'm going to flick around, just show you this little bit of result here. Look, you just you see them two glasses? Well, the glass on the left is exactly how much water I removed from the inspection hatch exactly a week ago today, and the glass on the right is today. So the one on the left is 480 millimeter and the one on the right is just 60 mil. Let me spin you back. So without dragging it on too much, I actually now starting to believe that my original diagnostics of the situation was bang on, and I've been influenced by other people's comments when they started talking about condensation and leaks. I do think this has all come down to overfilling the water tank, the seal on the above of the tube and the seal at the bottom of the tube that feeds from the deck down into the stainless steel tank. I believe having this bad habit of filling it to the brim, them seals are weeping or leaking, and the water that I got 2 weeks ago today when the alarm went off was a result of the lagging around the tank getting wet, and eventually that water finding its way onto the base plate and to the back of the boat. So let me just show you my process of making this little device, and then today, for the first time in 2 weeks since we had the alarm go off, I'm going to fill the water tank and I'm going to use my little device to stop me overfilling it. Go on, let me show you. Good morning and welcome to Sunday the 30th of January. And I just want to show you this. This is the start of my bit of a Heath Robinson, but it's my design for avoiding my water tank overflowing in the future and causing me the issue that I've had this last week or so. Now this is made out of, believe it or not, these are sticks that you put in the garden when you put a row of vegetables in. Came out of Wilco's, cost me 30p in the sticks. The bit of wood on the end came out of my kindling bag, so that cost me nothing. I've got to do a little bit of measuring and cutting yet, but before I do that I'm going to have my toast and a cup of tea, and then I'm going to treat this with my favourite product, which is True Oil, so it'll look very similar to my barge poles. And then I've got an electric gizmo that's going to be fastened to this, which will make more sense when it gets here on Monday. I'm going to video that on Tuesday, so I'm just going to get it all prepared. I just wanted to show you it in its, what I call its naked form, and then hopefully I'll get it all put together on Tuesday, and then we'll test it for the first time and see if it actually stops my tank overflowing. Just thought I'd show you that before I have my cuppa. Right, now I've shown you, well, I've shown you in the naked form the basis for my water indicator stick device that I'm making. Now what I need to do is find the actual level, the top of the tank. So what I'm going to do, because I'm going to allow the water, when I put this indicator stick in, to rise to within 1 inch of the surface of the tank. And the reason for that is, as I explained in the last vlog, the tank, if you can imagine a stainless steel tank with what looks like a very short chimney coming off the top, the filler pipe, which is I'm assuming is a copper, by the looks of it it's copper, is pushed inside of that first larger pipe, and then as it comes up to the floor of the well deck, the filler from the top is pushed similarly down onto it, so it's got a collar on the top and the bottom. So the inner filler pipe is shoved into the upper one and down into the lower one. How it's sealed in there, I don't know whether it's just a tight fit or whether they've actually put some sort of solders or whatever. But anyway, by keeping the water level at 1 inch below the top of the underside of the actual tank, that means that immaterial, whether it's the upper or the lower area that's leaking, the water will never ever reach that level. So other than trying to stick a ruler down but then you can't see the top of the tank, my answer to that is this little guy here. Now this is a telescopic, I think it, yeah, can you just see, look, there's a light on there, look, can you see it? And what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this down the filler, and if you can see close up, let me get closer, I hope you can see it without blurring. I want to show you this. There, look, it's got obviously a collar. So when I put it straight and I put it down the hole and I move it across to the side of the hole, the filler, and draw it back up, this collar is going to catch on the underside of the top of the tank. I will then mark the top of this rod where the filler pipe would enter into the well deck. So that gives me the accurate measurement between the underside of the tank and the well deck floor. I'm then going to add 1 inch, so that would then push my sensor stick 1 inch under the surface of the tank, and that's the level that I want the water to be reaching. So let's get that bit done. Okay, so nice easy measurement to take, get that nice and straight and level, and now I can see down here, I can see the 2 outer pipes that the inner copper pipe fits into, and that is me hooked underneath the surface. Oops, trying to do it and talk at the same time. That's the surface of the underside of the tank. So if I mark off there, now you see, can you see on there, look, I've got a mark. So what I'm going to do now, I need to add 1 inch to that to give me the length that I need on my sensor, and I know that's 1 inch under the top. Right, so this is the actual stick I'm using, as I've already shown you. It's still got to be dressed, it's still got to have the electronics fitted to it. So you've just seen me measure the tank, the filler down to the tank, and it was down, so this little ledge here was hooking on the upper side of the tank. So if I lay this onto this stick, bearing in mind when this goes into the filler tank, this is level, this part here, back down a minute, this bit here will be level on the well deck floor. So this, obviously the whole of this stick is going to go down in through the filler neck. If I put this light up against that, I've got the distance from the shoulder to the end of the light, which is going to give me that inch extra that I need. And if you look, there's my mark that I took, and the mark was taken by the shoulder. I'll put this back a bit. This shoulder being on the underside, hooking on the underside of the tank, and I was going to add an extra inch by just dropping the whole thing down. I've got the extra inch because I've got the whole length of the light down to my mark, and that is where the water sensor is going to be. So once the water hits this bottom bit of the stick, I've still got 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch before the level is reached, and it's up at the top of the tank, and it's still got to go up the filler neck at least an inch before it gets to where the first seal actually is. So I think that's going to be an absolutely spot on measurement. When the electrics come and I get it all mounted, I'm going to fill the tank and do it live, so you'll be able to see what I see. And fingers crossed, I've cracked it. Right, so I've done all my investigations I can today. And like I said, other than monitoring how much water's now going down to that hatch is as much as I can do. I just may consider, not sure yet, depending on the level of water, and if it starts to level off at sort of a small amount, I may invest in a dehumidifier and leave it in the electric cupboard with the hatch off for a while, and just to see if it helps to draw some of this moisture from under the floor. Might do, might not, we'll see how it goes. Right, so I just want to show you, I've had a delivery, but before I show you that, this is the water detecting device I've made. As you can see, it's got a sheen on it now because I've coated it in gunstock oil just to protect it, because it's something I'm going to use on hopefully on a weekly basis, and I don't want it just to get too wet and damp. So that's the actual base ready, and I've had this delivery come today from the Smiley Face company. I'm just going to quickly show you what's inside, and then I'm going to turn you off while I get it sorted, and then I'll give you a demo. So in there, in this little box, you see that? Now, I'm not promoting a particular make, it just says 120 decibel water leak alarm, and we have battery box, and you'll just see there, look, the sensor on the end. So I'm going to get this fitted how I want to have it on the stick, and then I'm going to do a little demo with you just to see if you get the gist of how it's all going to work when I come to fill the tank, which I'm not going to do for a while because I'm still contemplating putting a food dye in there to test for leaks on the pipes that I can't see. So there's no point in filling the tank all the way up. I'm just going to keep an eye on it. When it gets to maybe a quarter tank, I'll just put a little drop in just to keep it ticking over. Right, get this fitted, and then I'm going to do a scientific test with you. Bet you can't wait. Right, sorted. So we have alarm box double side taped to the top piece, and the cable insulated taped all the way down to the little sensor at the bottom of the stick. I haven't put it on the very end because I don't want to damage it, and you don't need it the whole thing in the water. The slightest bit of water will set this off. To make a bit of a stick, I bought these these are actually planter markers for when you plant a row of potatoes or whatever, and I've just glued them and clamped them to make it a thicker, stronger piece, so it's not too thick to be going down the hole while the hose pipe is in there. Bit of kindling that I used, just screwed it on the back, put some gun oil on it, double side taping the alarm box on. Takes a 9-volt battery. Now I'm going to do a demo with this, and I want you to tell me if you think I'll ever get to flood my tank again. But before I do, in a good old Smiley Face business fashion, there's the instructions. I don't know if you can see them, both sides in Chinese. It's a good job it's not a complicated thing to use. It's a simple on and off, and even I can't get that bit wrong. Let's do a demo. Right, welcome to this highly expensive experiment. Now bear with me, I'm going to talk you through this elaborate rig. This, I want you to imagine, is a cross section of my well deck at the front of the boat. So what you're actually seeing, the top of this red line is the well deck surface. In there's a tube that runs down, and this obviously is a cross section of that tube, into the tank. Now there's a seal at the bottom of the tube where it joins the tank, and there's a seal at the top of the tube where you fill up with water. Now I got a feeling that either one of those two seals are leaking, so my intention from now on in is never to fill the tank that full that there is water in this tube. Now, as I say, this is only a rig just to demo it. So in theory, what will happen is this little device at the bottom of the stick will be 1 inch. This is the very top of the tank here, where the water inlet pipe goes in. So that would in theory be 1 inch below. But for now, it's just there because it's only a beer mug and I ain't got that much space. But at least you'll get to see if this is going to work. So when I come to fill my tank, the scenario is take the filler out, put the hose pipe in, drop my stick down, turn on the tap and put the kettle on. Now I can be sat on the boat watching a little bit of TV with Misty, and my tank, as you can see now, is starting to fill. Now I don't have to be anywhere near this. As you can see, the water now, look, is coming up the tank, getting towards the bottom of the stick, which will still below the surface of the tank. And there we go, look, getting some water in now. Wait for it. There you go. Now tell me that wasn't £6 well spent. Now clearly that's on your demo, just to give you some idea how it's going to work. And it's protected by being slightly shorter than the end of the stick. It can be turned off as soon as I come to take it out. Then all I've got to do is put a little bit of tissue around there just to dry it, put it safe in the cupboard in the bedroom, and then the next time I come to fill my tank, drop it in. There is no way water will ever get inside this filler neck now when this is inserted into my water tank filling system. So I reckon that was £6 well spent. What do you think? So there it is. As you can see, that's how it's going to fit when I come to fill the tank. And putting it in like that leaves plenty of room for me to put my hose down, and it's on the reverse side, so it's not going to come anywhere in contact with the cables or the actual sensor, and it just sits there. And like I say, when the water gets within an inch of the top of the tank, that little alarm will tell me it's time to think about putting the tap off. So neat and tidy, and well worth a bit of effort. Okay, so we're now going to fill the tank. I found this piece of grey pipe when I was clearing the engine bay out, ready to put that extra ballast in. So it fits lovely and tight on this hose, and I'm using this because it gives you a nice clean insertion into the tank, whereas the hose could curl up and splash and do all manner of things. So I'm just going to put these two in together, and I've got to get this right. I've switched the alarm off for the moment, just in case there's any moisture. I don't want it going off while I'm trying to get it in. There we go. And there's my hose and my alarm in. And the alarm is now set. I've just knocked you on, sorry. But yeah, there it is, all set. So I'm now going to go and turn the tap on. It's about a quarter of a tank, so it's going to take a while to fill up. I don't think we're going to capture the moment when it does set the alarm off, but what I will try and do is be here ready for when the alarm goes off, so you can actually hear what I hear, and you'll see that the tank hasn't overflowed. So I'm off to turn tap on. I'm going to nip to the LSAN like I would normally do, and we'll come back to this in a bit. Okay, now I've been and turned the tap off because the alarm has just gone off, and what I have is a little switch here on the side. So I'm just going to, I'm now say the water's turned off, but the sensors obviously sense that the water's an inch from the top of the tank. I'm just going to turn this little alarm on just so you get an idea of the kind of racket it makes. There you go. I'm now going to take it out, get my little extending torch, look down and make sure that I've definitely got water below the filler pipe. Come back to you in a minute. Okay, so you can see I've got my little light on. Now I know you can't see down this hole, but trust me, I'm not going to lie to you. I can feel the torch going down the two parts of the filler, and as it hooks under the tank, under the top of the tank, I can just see it making contact with the water. So where are we? Here we go. So as that collar there is touching the underside of the top of the tank, this collar here is just making contact with the water. So my tank is full to within the depth of that, which is roughly an inch. So yeah, dead happy with that little invention. And when I'm out on the water, if I get talking to somebody, I've got my tank filling, it'll never overflow because it's going to let me know. So there you go, job's a good one. Now, because I'm moving things around on the stern deck, I've found I need to find a place to locate this rudder arm inside the boat. I don't want to leave it on the stern deck because it's just tempting people to be able to steal your boat because they can actually steer it. So I've decided, whilst my electric cupboard's all upside down, I'm going to fit it on this wall here, down, I don't know if you can just see, down to the floor. Now, to stop it moving away from the floor, on the floor, I'm going to use one of these, which I bought in Wilko's. I'm sure the shops must sell them. And it's what you put furniture, chair legs into so they don't damage your carpet. So I'm going to drill a hole, screw that to the floor so that the metal tube on the end of my tiller arm will sit in that. And then using this, which is, as most of you realise, is a tree or sapling holder that you put around a stake to hold it in place. This I'm going to actually fasten to the wall of the electric cupboard, so I can then, when the rudder arm's in position, I can just put that around it at the top and it will stop it from falling over. I'll show you when I've got it all in place. Okay, now it's all in place. There you go, look, strapped in, and it goes all the way down into the plastic cup at the bottom so it can't slide about. Neat and tidy, out of the way. I'm just going to trim this down because I don't need all this flapping about, but that's just what you, as I say, tie saplings to a post with. And that little handy setup has cost me less than £1, and it keeps my rudder shaft arm out the way. How neat is that? And there you have it. This week's vlog, kept short as I said. Just a couple of quick things just to quickly tell you. The last thing I need to do now to test for this water issue is run the washing machine, which I'm not going to do now till Thursday, which is roughly almost 2 days away, because having filled the tank, it's just short of 500 litres, which I think works out at 500 kilo. I think it's a kilo to a litre, something like that. So there's a lot of water pressure in that tank pushing down on the pipe work that I can't get to. So again, I want to leave it a couple of days just to see if it's just the weight of water in the tank pushing onto them connections that's causing any leaks. If in 2 days time I get up and the inspection hatch is still, as it is now, very, very dry, you know, in relation to what it was, then I'm going to do a batch of washing, and then over the weekend, if it still remains dry, I'm going to put everything back, put the cover on. I'm going to reset the water sensor in there, but I'm going to lift it slightly off the floor, so it's not touching the deck, the base plate, but it'll be about, in the old money, 1/4 of an inch off. So it won't go off then unless there is quite a bit of water gathered. But I think, you know, we're on top of this. Now, cider of the week. I've decided cider of the week has run its course for now. I'm not saying we'll not do any more reviews. If anybody wishes to send any ciders through that they've got locally or want to recommend any to try, I'll happily do it. But for now, cider of the week I'm going to put to bed. We were going to announce a new part of the vlog. It's not going to be something we're going to do every week. It's something that's going to be popped into the vlog from time to time. But unfortunately, Misty hasn't finished learning her lines because she's going to be introducing it. So that'll have to be maybe next week. And as promised, this is kept short. So I just want to say a quick thank you to everybody for supporting the channel. Please, if you've just stumbled across us, please subscribe. Do give us a thumbs up. do bang some comments below, and I'll catch up with you next week, and hopefully have even more good news on the water under the floor, and then I can put that one to bed for good. So from Misty and Me, all that remains for me to say is cheers.